Are you sick of your boss? Like looking at your boss's face early in the morning makes you question the meaning of your life. Like, why was I even born? 2 weeks after joining the company, you realize that your boss's compliments are just used to start the sentence. By the end, you get personally blamed for climate change. When you joined the company, you thought you would become an all-rounder. Well, now you are. You are an employee of the company, the alarm clock for your boss's meetings, the IT guy for your boss's laptop, the driver for your boss's children, and the delivery boy for your boss's wife. By the way, if you are sick of your boss, you are not the only one. 3 out of 4 employees report that their boss is the worst and the most stressful part of their job. 65% of employees say that they would choose a new boss over a pay raise. Yeah, because what's the point of getting a pay raise if you're gonna spend it on therapy because of your boss? 44% of employees report that they have been verbally, emotionally, or physically abused by a supervisor. And listen to this one. Employees who had bosses that they did not like were 60% more likely to suffer a heart attack. I guess you better start liking your boss soon, and I'm here to help. I'm gonna tell you how to deal with a difficult boss, but the approach in this video is pretty limited and simple. There are some preconditions. First one, that you simply cannot change your boss. Like, that's out of the question. We are assuming that there is no scope of negotiation there. You also can't go to higher authorities. And finally, you can't quit the job either. You have to stick with this boss for at least 1 year because this job is super duper important for you. The only thing you can change is your own thoughts and your own behaviors. Also, you must have observed it yourself, right? Like in the same company, under the same boss, some people actually do really well. I mean, they just glide through. Life is easy for them. They're even thriving. You look at smiles on their faces. But then there are some people who are just sick of their bosses, sick of their company, constantly complaining. They are miserable. Same company, same boss, but very different emotions and reactions. So in today's video, the approach would be, how can you change your own thoughts without changing the environment at all? So at the end, the question would come to your own survivability and your own resilience. And you should think of it this way as well. If someone else can do it, so can I. If someone else can be happy in this environment, I can also be. I just have to learn how to. I'll discuss 3 major toxic behaviors from bosses. First one, micromanaging. Second one, having a closed mind to your ideas. Third one, high levels of negativity towards you. First one, micromanaging. When you have a micromanaging boss, it's like being in a haunted house. Like you're trying to mind your own business, but the ghost can come from anytime, anywhere to scare you. The ghost reminds you of your past sins and then disappears. And then you think you can call your friend to make a party plan for the weekend, but then suddenly you feel a tap on your shoulder and there it is, the ghost again. Micromanaging from a ghost, I mean your boss, can be very suffocating. You don't feel free. You can't be creative. You can't even take a nap. So how do you survive this? And how do you change your thoughts? When you are under a micromanagement, the first big loss is of course your freedom. That can lead to a lot of dissatisfaction, right? So first of all, you should internally simply reduce the scope of freedom in this job. Adjust yourself internally that I just have less freedom here. Because think about it, the freedom that you're gonna enjoy in any job will never be absolute and will never be zero either. It will be somewhere in the middle. It could be a level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So whatever level of freedom you're getting here, just make peace with it. Okay, this is all I'm gonna get. And you should also think like the end goal is to get the job done. Your freedom is not the most important thing. You have to internally think that, okay, I am part of a process which is adding value to the society, and this process is productive even if it means I enjoy less freedom. Then sometimes a micromanaging boss demands constant updates from you, right? Like they are just on to you, constantly asking you, what have you done? What's up? Like every hour of the day. This can be annoying. But what I want you to do is internally don't see it as annoying. Look at the upside. You should think of it like, oh, it's actually great. I mean, the boss is constantly asking for updates. That's gonna help me stay on track. So see their micromanagement like help, like you're getting a personal coach here. When your boss asks for updates, you just say, sure sir, this is what's happening. In fact, you can actually go a step further. When you know that your boss is about to ask for an update in like 30 minutes, you give them an update after 25 minutes yourself. That way you'll feel more in control and your boss will be happier. Another micromanaging habit is they redo your work. Like you've spent hours and hours on doing something, but then they come along and just reject your work and redo everything, and then you're wondering, why the hell did I waste all that much time? Again, don't look at it that way. Look at the upside. Every time your boss redoes your work, it's an opportunity for you to understand what their real expectations are, what they really want. Take their redoing as feedback. So instead of getting annoyed by the redoing, your goal should be, how close can I get to my boss's expectations? So the next time your boss comes and redoes everything that you've done, you just need to say, okay, I'll keep that in mind next time. Now let's come to the second toxic behavior, which is having a closed mind and being unreceptive to your ideas. What this means is basically your boss just does what he thinks is right. He doesn't ask you for ideas. When he does ask, he just rejects them ultimately, and he just wants to take all the decisions all by himself. You feel kind of left out. Your ideas just get shot down for no apparent good reason. All your knowledge and experience is just ignored. Now let's come to the specific thoughts that can help you deal with the boss who has a closed mind. First of all, you always have to respect the decision hierarchy. Please remember that your boss is not above you in terms of human status, but he's definitely above you in terms of decision status. And whoever is above you in the decision hierarchy has full right to reject all your ideas. You have to respect that. It's completely their choice how many ideas and how much of an idea they take from you. This is simply how the system works. No point complaining too much. Second thing to tell yourself is your ideas are way important to you than others. You have to remind yourself that you are just one among many variables in your boss's mind. The boss has their own knowledge, their own experiences, their own priorities and personal preferences. Your boss has also inputs from many different people other than you. So here you are thinking that you have given such an amazing idea to the boss, but your idea is just one among so many different things in your boss's brain. You are not that important. So accept this in advance that nobody will take you as seriously as you take yourself. Next point is you have to detach yourself from the output of your boss's decision making. Like I said in the previous point, there are so many variables in the boss's mind and their processing isn't perfect. So you have absolutely no control on what the output will be. You have to detach yourself from what the output will be. You cannot take it personally. Your attitude should be, I'll just give my ideas and I don't care about what happens next. Even if your ideas get rejected 100 times, you have to still give your ideas with full emotion and enthusiasm 101th time. Or is it 101st? I don't know. Next point, keep the motivation up, especially in the execution of that decision. When your boss rejects your idea or your decision and takes their own decision, don't walk away with the sulky face, yes, let's do it. And don't give like a half-hearted approach in executions, internally hoping that, oh, I hope this fails. Doesn't matter if the decision came from you or from the boss. Doesn't matter if the decision is perfect or imperfect. What matters is that's the decision for that time and you must go with it. Be a team player, don't make it about yourself. Now let's come to the third toxic behavior, high levels of negativity towards you. Maybe you have a boss who is just constantly criticizing and negative. They show no appreciation or positivity. Nothing you can do makes them happy. They are forever finding faults in your work, never satisfied. Like if they like something, they won't mention anything, they won't say anything. But if they find one mistake, they'll make sure to mention it. And sometimes they even blame you for things that aren't even your fault. Again, how to deal with others' negativity, I have made 2 videos on that. I'll add the links in the description. But I'll still discuss some very important points specifically to this context. First thing, you need to remind yourself that your boss's criticism is just one data point. Their negative opinion or their negative remark is just one thing among many about yourself. Like it's just part of your reality, not your whole reality. So if your boss calls you stupid or slow or lazy or dumb, that doesn't mean you're all those things. That only means that one person in your world thinks that way about you. And hopefully there are many different people who actually think of you differently. So that way you can discount the effect of their words on you. Next point is about bad tone. So many times it's not just what they say, how they say also affects us so much more. Again, if they sound aggressive, sarcastic, or they use abusive words, that hurts you way more than the actual criticism. How to deal with that? First, please remember that when somebody loses their temper, or when somebody is sarcastic, or they just have a bad tone, they are pretty much helpless. Why do I say that? It's because they actually don't know any better way to communicate. They are not really good at managing their emotions and their communication. They never really learned to develop filters. They just blurt out everything that comes to their mind and in whatever way or manner they're feeling at that moment. So when somebody uses a bad tone, it's actually their problem, not my problem. And the next thing to remember here is that ultimately you should be able to feel sympathy for them. Yes, you heard it right. When somebody is mean to you, you can actually feel sympathy for them. Because remember this, if that person has a bad tone or is just mean to you, it's probably true that they are the same with other people as well. I mean, that person clearly isn't a happy person. That person is probably annoying their own family, friends, neighbors, and workers. They are fighting with people all around. That sounds like a sad life, so we can have sympathy for them. And finally, while dealing with the bad tone, remember to not focus on the tone at all. You should just focus on the content. Ignore the emotions, ignore the tone, focus on what are they saying and decide if it's useful or not. So let's say they are criticizing your bad work ethic. If you genuinely think that you have a problem, that you are lazy, you are procrastinating too much, then forget their tone, forget their words, just realize the fact that, oh yes, I need to make some changes, and take their criticism as that motivator. But if internally you know that you've always done your work well, you are actually a great worker, other people appreciate you, then let them talk whatever they want to. You go out of their office thinking, what a load of bullshit. You don't have to take it seriously. So the core point is you're focusing on the content, not the tone. And closely related, the next point is get good at filtration. Because so many times people just say things out of frustration. Their criticism is probably contradicting their own earlier criticism. Sometimes they will criticize you to simply put the blame on you to save their own face. Or sometimes they may criticize you because they just don't like you. So there will be many times in your life where nothing good or constructive can come out of a criticism. And in such times you have to have that filter. You have to be able to tell yourself that not every word that comes out of other people's mouths has to be taken seriously. Those are just sound waves. You can just laugh them off internally. So next time your boss is criticizing you unnecessarily, you can just remind yourself internally, oh man, I can't wait to gossip about this to my friends later. And to your boss, you can simply say, okay, I understand. Understand is an amazing word. This doesn't mean that you agree with them. It only means that you understand their perspective. Next point is to balance the previous one, which is don't ignore the good points. Don't make your filter so strong that you can't even take good criticism anymore. Good criticism, even if it's coming with a bad tone, with sarcasm, it is still very helpful for you. Like one day you're late and your boss just shouts at you, can you ever come on time? This is so toxic, but internally it's an opportunity for you to learn to actually be more punctual and inform people in advance when you are running late. You make some spelling mistakes and your boss just puts you down. Is that what they teach you in your college? Again, feels toxic, but it's an opportunity for you to learn to double check. Your goal is to turn their destructive criticism into constructive action points for yourself. Next point here is don't put your boss's words on a pedestal. Some people have a very high regard for authority. They give their seniors way more credit than they deserve. In such cases, whatever comes from their mouths, you just take it too seriously. Their criticism hurts you more than it should. You have to always remember that your boss is just another human being. They are flawed, they are imperfect, they have tremendous capability to be stupid and nasty. It's not your goal to flatter your boss. It's not your goal to get complete approval from your seniors. You will not be liked by everyone. Of course, if people like you naturally, that's a bonus, but that cannot be your top goal. Your core goal should be how well can I do my job while maintaining decent working relationships. Your boss liking you or being happy with you is also dependent on their temperament, which is clearly out of your control. Your goal is to simply understand your boss's expectations as best as you can so that you can contribute really well to their vision, which again hopefully contributes meaningfully to the world. So when it comes to work, adding value to the society is more important than getting liked. Finally, I'll give you a bonus perspective here. As you work with bosses in different companies, as you deal with toxic and non-toxic bosses, throughout all of this, remember to keep your eye on the bigger picture. And the bigger picture here is the meaning behind your work. Why are you working? You are working so you can earn money, become independent, learn new things, move on to bigger things, etc. Those are the reasons you step into the office and deal with people, deal with your bosses. So in your journey to achieving those bigger things, your boss is just one element among many. Don't let your boss affect you so much that you just lose the sight of the bigger picture, that you lose meaning in your work. Both your boss and you are technically using each other to achieve your own bigger goals. Both of you are just one variable among many in each other's lives. So don't let one person affect you so much. You kind of have to remind yourself that, okay, I'm in a jungle right now. There are going to be trees, monkeys, and lions, and I just have to survive them and do my own thing. When the larger picture stays clear in your mind, the small irritants matter much less. I hope these ideas made sense. Hopefully your boss will not seem as toxic as they did before. You can check out all the related videos mentioned in the video in the description below. Shridhar Lifeschool is a team of psychologists who specialize in counseling. If you're going through very difficult times or you want to achieve higher well-being, we offer one-on-one counseling for individuals, couples, parents, and their children. To book sessions, go to our website shridharlifeschool.com.